Good morning. It is book launch day, and we actually just hit #1 new release for on Amazon for children's How Things Work books, which is so freaking cool. I thought, why not come on here and go live and talk a little bit about this concept, why I did it, and a little bit more about it. How's everyone doing this morning? Awesome. So I wrote a kid's book. This is the proof one from Amazon, so it says not for resale. I'm waiting for mine to come too. But this is an architecture book for kids. It is interactive. It's fun. It helps teach them little, it's an interactive way for them to learn different views and drawings that architects make. I also have an activity book that goes with it. That's really fun. The girls were doing it last night. I took some pictures. It was cute. And that's just been such a fun thing. So one thing that has been with this is I've launched things before, right? I have a workbook. I've done things like this before, but I've never done it. I've always done it specifically for aspiring architects or people who are taking their exams and stuff. But this is a little different. This is for not only like anybody, but it's also specifically for children who are our biggest critics, right? Okay, is that angle bothering anyone else? It's an architect thing. Much better. Okay, so that first of all was just, it comes with new nerves and new feels. But it has been so exciting. It's been really fun to share it with people who aren't just my normal clientele. And it's really exciting to see that I woke up and it said #1 new release. So if you haven't gotten it already, home, it's our book. It's great for ages 2 to 10. It can be older too, but you'll see here in the beginning, the different commands that it will have you take. So it's fun, interactive to do with the kids. And it's also fun. My daughter will go through one where you have to shake the book and she always squeals. And it's so fun. So the way that this came about is a couple years ago when I had completely burned out in my business. I was taking things really seriously. I need to post this up here. Hold it like this. No, I'm just kidding. Taking things really seriously is all about, professionalism and just losing the excitement in life. And I know people who go through their exams feel that, where it's there's no balance. Everything's so serious and whatnot. And I was having physical body reactions to the stress. And I realized that there needed to be some sort of shift. And one thing that I wanted to start incorporating more in my life was fun and play and joy. And I literally, I'm the most type A, type B person. So I'm not super crazy type A, but at the same time, when I'm telling myself that I need to have more fun, I'm going to read books on how to have more fun. That's where I was at. So this was 2 years ago, started incorporating more fun, more play. And that's when the idea for the activity book for architects came about. And that one was just for aspiring architects taking their licensing exams. So that one started out with this idea of how to incorporate more play. And it took off and has been doing so great over the last 2 years. And I've still continued that. How can I incorporate more play, more fun, more joy into my business, my life, the people who I work with, their lives. And you'll probably see that if you're new to my Instagram. My Instagram is very playful and lighthearted and don't take it too seriously. It's very different than how it used to look. So as I've been incorporating this philosophy in my business a lot more, last year was a particularly difficult time, especially in the beginning of the year, really last year. My mother-in-law got really sick and we moved her down here to be closer to us so we could help take care of her in February. And the next month, my youngest daughter, who was 2 at the time, her daycare told us that they were shutting down. And because it was in the middle of the year, I couldn't find any other help. I've reached out to tons of different places and couldn't find any help. So I was going from working she would go to daycare 5 days a week, half days. So it was going from being able to work, still not even like full time, but that amount of time, to then being home full time with her, helping take care of my mother-in-law, plus just like the stresses of that, plus work, right? I still had clients, I still have all these things. So it was a tough time in life, yet somehow it ended up being a huge breakthrough for me and really helpful because it really forced me to slow down, and it forced me to incorporate that play and the fun and the not chaos that I was wanting to. So it was like the universe is like, okay, you want this? Sure, here you go, and throw me full in it. So I ended up being full-time with my daughter, which seemed really scary at first, especially because I'd never been full-time at home. I've always done some sort of work, even when they were babies. And even though I was still working, obviously, because I have my business, but I was still at home full-time with her. And it ended up being really incredible, and I loved it. And it got me to be so much more creative in different ways. So one day I was driving home with my two daughters. They were 2 and 7 at the time, and they both fell asleep in the car. And I don't even know what happened, but usually in cars I get most of my ideas. And I came up with this idea for this book. And I'm like, oh, I love that idea. That's so fun. So I park, both of them were asleep. So I run inside real quick and I grab a Sharpie and a pen. Let me see if I think I have it. Oh yes, I have it right here. So I grab a Sharpie and a pen. I go back out there and I just start sketching. And let me tell you what, this is like so rough, but it was basically just like, how do I word vomit this out of my brain? Like, what is this? Yes, I'm an architect. But I had the concept. I wanted it to be interactive. I wanted it to be a way that you could play with it and create these different views. So that was the concept. And then it evolved into what it is now, which really is essentially the same concept, but much better drawings. Okay, so fast forward, I got that idea. I'm like, okay, cool, fun idea. Let's put it aside. I didn't have the capacity. Again, this was like a year ago. So I didn't have the capacity to actually like turn it into anything yet. Yay, Julian, thank you so much. I can't wait. That's the goal, is how can I teach little ones and even parents too. So there's also a little glossary in the back that takes you through some of the views and stuff. So I have this concept, and then I'm like, okay, how do I get this into life? How do I bring this thing to life? I didn't have the mental capacity to actually do it at that time. So I reached out to someone I've worked with before who's a wonderful illustrator. And I'm like, maybe I should just have someone else illustrate it. And that way it's like the concept's already there. I can have them illustrate it. I can put it out into the world. It can be done. Because again, like, this isn't my main business. This was like something that I felt super called to have out in the world, but it almost was like a side project in a way. Like, I'm not just a children's book author. I'm all these other things. So I knew it couldn't really take over my like full capacity. So I reached out, I reached out to a couple of illustrators, got working with one and paid them and everything, and then got the drawings back. And I started incorporating. I had kind of sketched out what I wanted a little bit better than what it is now. And then I said, I'm like, oh, it wasn't hitting the mark. And so I sent back revisions like, hey, can you try to do a little more this? And they came back with more revisions. And I'm like, it just still isn't feeling me. Like, it's just not feeling right. So I just kind of let it go again and let it sit in the wayside. And then I realized a while later, it was probably another driving inspiration idea, but I realized I'm trying to have another artist draw up a book that is living in my head And I've already done the drawings. I had already done this drawing for the clients whose house I built. I'm like, I already designed the house. The house is already built. I've already won awards for this house. I've already done literally the artwork. So why am I not using that? And I think I was hesitant to do it because I knew that it was going to take work to turn it into all the drawings for the book. But I realized that every time I was getting back drawings for it, this is what I had in my head all along. So I'm like, you know what? I just got to do it. I got to do it myself. And again, there's no timeline. There's no deadline. It's not like I had to get it out by a certain time. So I'm like, just take it easy. So we went on a 2-week road trip in August with my family. And when there was times when we were, relaxing, having nap times, we were at the campground and stuff, I just worked on the drawings. And this was the end of August. So worked on the drawings, got most of them done. Actually, surprisingly, like almost all of them done except for one. And then I put it away again. And then in the fall, I was like, oh, I got to get that book out. Oh, I should do it. So like, this is just, I say all this. I want to tell this story because it's the evolution of how things happen sometimes. And it can feel really frustrating because it's like you get these great ideas and you start them, but then you don't finish them. But the best part is that each time I would go back to it, I'd realize how far I was, how far I had come. It's like I had to take it in increments and take it, even though, look, there's like 30 pages with like 1-sentence words. It's not that there's that many, it's like a huge novel that's the thing. It's the whole concept together, but also just having a project. And sometimes I know this can happen with like exams or going through the licensing process is you can get excited about it, you can do it, and then you put it away. And then it's like, oh my gosh, why didn't I just stick with it? It's taking so long. But every time you go back to it, it's like getting better and better. The foundation's been set. So the beginning of this year, I put it on my Q1 goal. I said by the end of Q1 of 2025, it's going to be published. No matter what. I don't care. So in February, I looked back at what I had done and I realized how insanely close I was. I had to do some formatting things. I had to update like a couple little drawings. And there was a lot of decision making on the publishing side of things. So there was a lot of stuff for publishing and for just decision making like that. But overall, it was pretty much done. So I set the date and I said, whatever happens, it's going to happen. So sometimes that's what you just have to do it is like things will happen incrementally, which is great, but also just set a date and make it happen. At least that's how I'm able to hit goals. It's like, I just have to set it and hit it. So it's been really exciting. It's been vulnerable because again, it's like kids are the strictest critics ever. It's going out to a wider audience than just my aspiring architects that I've built such a community with, but it's really exciting too. And can't wait for it to be, thanks, Matt. Matt, how you doing? I can't wait for you guys to read this book. And again, like so exciting. It just hit #1 new release for children's activity books. It's so exciting. I hope that it inspires little ones to get into drawing or architecture. And then also, if you guys get it on my website, I put a link in my thing, but I also have a printable download activity pack. So the kids can color, if coloring sheets and mazes and spot the differences and stuff. So I just this is what I'm talking about, having fun. Like, how can I have fun and still be working? And some people are like, what are you doing? Writing a book? Like, why slow down, stop doing things? It's like, but this to me is fun and brings joy. And like, can be my work, which is just so freaking exciting and amazing. So thank you everyone for your support. It's book launch day. We already my goal was to hit #1 in something, why not, it's fun, and it already happened. So I'm just thankful for you all. Thank you for your support. Hopefully it can share some design with some little minds. And if you are an architect, it's a fun way to share that with your kids too. Because, okay, just before I sign off, obviously my book, right? I've been telling this to my kids. I have awards up there for buildings. And I designed this building, and like my kid has been to this building to see it. And yesterday, she's 8. Yesterday, she's doing the coloring thing. And I said something like, oh yeah, well, I designed that building. She's like, this one, you drew it? I'm like, yeah. And then I had to like explain to her. She's like, wait, it's a real building? And you designed it? I'm like, where have you been the last 8 years? Yes, I'm an architect. Like, so sometimes even our kids who are around us all the time, who maybe we talk to about architecture and design, like don't even know what we do. So this is a way to share it with them, inspire them, have them color some houses and have fun with it. All right. Thank you all for your support. Get your book. And if you do have your book, send pictures, send your kids interacting with it. That is, just cannot wait to see them all doing it. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye.